So today I'm going to demonstrate you how we can do the initial installation and initial configuration of a platform service controller. Now for this test I will be using a 6.5 update 3 image which I have downloaded on the desktop. So uh, for this setup I will be using I will be configuring an external platform service controller, and then later on we will be building upon it a vCenter server which will be external. So let's start our test by double click onto the ISO. We'll go to the PSA UI installer Win32. There I'll see an installer.exe file. Double click onto it and it will initiate the installer. Here we will have to select a new installation. So it's an install option that we have to select, and hit next. And you'll have to accept the end user license agreement. Hit next. Then here you will have to specify, since you are configuring an external platform service controller, you select this option. Hit next. Then you'll have to specify the ESXi host which you want to use. So I have an ESXi internal.ashu.com. It's one of my ESXi internal hosts which I will be using. Add the credentials, the password. It will ask you to accept the certificate, and once it is done you can enter the name of the PSC virtual machine which will be there visible on the vCenter server later on. Add the root credentials which you want to set for this PSC. Hit next. Select the VM, the hard data store which you want to keep. I'll select the thin provisioning since it's a test lab. uh, I'll add the system name as psc.ashu.com. Please note that before the installation, you have to make sure that there is a host record and a PTR record created for the PSC that we are configuring. So I just matched my values from that host record that I have configured earlier, and enter all the information based on your specific to your environment. So the DNS server is the last value. Everything looks good here. We'll hit next and initiate the installation and configuration. Please note that I have fast forwarded the installation, otherwise it takes some time for the stage 1 to complete. And if you want post stage 1, you can take a snapshot as well of the virtual machine which is created, so that in case if any failure happens at stage 2, you don't have to repeat the entire stage 1. You can always revert to the snapshot which you have taken after stage 1, make the changes whichever necessary, and then proceed further. So the installation of RPM, it's the most it's the task which takes a lot of time in the stage 1 deployment. So once this is done, it will configure the virtual machine, shows the deployment is complete. This is the stage 1. We'll have to move to stage 2 now. uh, in case if this window closes after that, you can access the virtual machine using the IP address that you have entered as well. For continuing the installation, for the NTP, I'll be setting a default host as a NTP source. I'll be enabling the SSH. Here as a single sign-on domain name, I will be using a default values, which is vsphere.local. If you want, you can use your own as well. Single sign-on password. Let's confirm it and hit next. Let's add the default site as well. I'm sorry. The default site I will be choosing as the name as the default site name. Since it's a test environment, I don't want to make any specifics changes. Let's unselect it or select if you want. These are the configuration that I have selected for my PSC. Let's hit finish. So the stage 2 process will again take some time on its own, and you can't revert back now. So whatever changes that will happen, it will make it. Or if you have some issues with your network configuration, it will you might have to reinstall the entire PSC again from stage 1. So that's why taking a snapshot at stage 1 after stage 1 is important, and it's a good step. uh, Now let's wait for this to complete. Again, I have fast forwarded the video since it takes some time to complete the stage 2 installation as well. Once it is done, you will see the access page of the PSC. You can this is my ESXi host where the VM is running. Let's log in there as well, and let's ignore this error since it's 6.5 U1. There is this issue. So PSC is there. Let's log into this PSC now with administrator at the rate vsphere.local credentials. and see if we are able to log in. So looks like it's logging in fine. We can see everything as expected with the new installation. The administrator and everything is there, which should be there with the new installation of the PSC. So the installation seems to be working fine, and in the PSC has deployed successfully. In the later slides, we will be deploying a virtual vCenter server appliance as well as an external deployment.